Welcome to our EdTech Bite. On this one, we're going to talk about student collaboration and preserving our classroom culture that we worked really hard to develop with capturing kids' hearts. So sometimes with tools, whenever people can access them at multiple times, or there's a component that allows students to engage with one another, feelings can get hurt. Words are said. We've seen it on computer screens all the time, right? People are a lot braver behind a computer screen. However, these tools, when you explicitly teach some basic etiquette, these can be used in a really positive way to make student instruction and learning more meaningful in the classroom. This tool that we're going to look at is actually called Bluekit. Fun fact, I've been mispronouncing it until today when I logged on and saw this little pronunciation thing that they had. So I've been calling it Blooket, but it is pronounced Bluekit. This is akin to Gimkit and Kahoot. So think Gimkit, but freer, and think Kahoot with ease of access and the fact that the kids like it. So we are going to log in or sign up. It'll just be with your Google ID. You're not paying for anything. I have never created a set. I have only used sets that I have found that have already been created. But we'll look at some silly ones. So name that pet. That's super silly, but it'll give us an idea. So kids have actually gone on during indoor recess, things like that, and they have made Blookits themselves. See, I'm mispronouncing it still. Bluekits. And they can make them themselves, creating test questions, review questions. So that would be a really fun activity. Student-centered, they're creating it all. Now what it looks like when you click on it, okay, this is obviously a very simple one. It's a picture of dogs. What is it? This has 8 questions, show your answers. You can see that it is very much like Kahoot, which I think at this point we've all played. Students can play solo or you can host the game. Now when you host the game, you have to choose a different mode. Some are better than others, in my opinion. There's the classic, so looks similar to the Kahoot that we've seen in the past. There's a factory, and I find that different classes on different years prefer different modes. So my class this year likes the cafe mode, but last year they were super into crypto hack. My second graders got a kick out of thinking that they were actually hacking people, and it'll allow the more questions that you get correct, it will give you points, money, and you can use that to buy different powers, I guess. So you could, like in the crypto hack, you could steal money from someone. And you might think of a student in particular that you have or have had that would just lose their mind at something like that, and you'd think, oh no, I can't play that because it would cause all this misbehavior and then we'd have to stop. For whatever reason, I haven't experienced that with Bluekit. I haven't. They've really incorporated some great, just a classroom culture because they are talking to their peers while we play. I never have them play silently, but they get to kind of emote their feelings, but no one takes offense. So I haven't ever had a student who felt picked on. It's definitely something to check out. And of course, play it in a fun and safe way first, like maybe do something silly just to get them used to it. But then, incorporate your content in it, make questions or find questions. You can assign this as homework so that they can play it independently, just within class, and maybe that might be silent, or you can host the game and that's going to be whole group. So definitely check out Bluekit. So next up in our student collaboration and classroom culture list, we are going to look at Canva. Now, Canva, I'm not going to say it's the most simple thing. There are some nuances to go along with it, but if you like graphics and you still want students to be able to work together, Canva is a really good option. You can see in our presentation that I have a few sample assignments. One was a make your own Starbucks drink. It was the last week of school. we went into Starbucks mode, needed something, and that was a really good option for them. Another was we were going to the zoo for our field trip, and so we incorporated science and math into it. And then ELA by having students collaborate together on a zoo brochure. So they created a zoo to house the animals that they had selected and designed enclosures for. So lots of good options. When you're in Canva, you can make an actual, like a classroom, and students will complete projects as you assign them. But I really like it just for the templates. So let's say that you wanted to make a brochure of some variety. Okay, well, you can search for that. And there are tons of options, and all of this is editable. So that one looks fun and kitty. Okay, so we can customize this template. And high school students, maybe they show something about child development, they can use this. They can change the different designs, they can search over here, and more than one person can edit it at a time. You can share it, similar to Google, only you can access, only people like from that classroom or anybody with the link, so you can edit, can view, etc. So this is a really good way for your students to work together and collaborate on something. Again, I would explicitly teach some of the skills about staying in your own space, because when everyone can edit, feelings can get hurt a little bit. So that's something that you will want to go over prior to an assignment. But otherwise, it is a really great option. So if you have any questions, just let me know. This next tool that we're going to look at is Google Slides. It is not a new tool, but it deserves its own space to be talked about. It is a key collaborative tool, and if we teach students skills early enough in elementary, then by the time they get to secondary, they'll be able to direct themselves and lead their own activities. So some basic skills are just the fact that multiple people can edit and access this at once. That is one of the best things about it, and it is one of the worst things about it. So we need to teach students that everyone has their own space. So in this example, it's very basic. The teacher already set out, there's a pink slide that has a student name on it, and then it was followed by a blank white slide. A colored slide with the student name on it, followed by a white slide. And the instructions were to go to the white slide after your name, add a text box, and answer this prompt. Okay, so this allowed the teacher to have a really good viewpoint, simple to scroll through and assess student, not just the formatting, but also the students' conceptual knowledge, their English, capitalization, punctuation, and it made it a little easier to go through as opposed to some other platforms where you have to really do a lot of clicking in order to assess all the individual responses. So this is just one way that you can utilize collaboration within your classroom.